Welcome to San Diego Business Insight on San Diego News Network. I'm Beck Bambecker. For-profit businesses are not the only to struggle during these tough times. Non-profit organizations are also dealing with a rough economy. What are the moves they are making, and what can traditional businesses learn from our county's nonprofits? Joining me today is Doug Perkins, Executive Director of the San Diego Association of Nonprofits. Thanks for being here, Doug.
Well, thanks so much for having me.
Now, you work with some of the 9,000 nonprofits we have in the county, and you recently did a survey.
Correct.
One finding you got was that 43% of nonprofits have found a decrease in individual contributions this year.
Correct.
What does this tell us?
Well, it tells us what we already know, that times are tough out there and probably going to get tougher. The survey that we did was for the last quarter of last year, and since then we know that the economic indicators and all have probably gotten worse. We'll be doing a follow-up survey in next quarter, so April, and we should, I think the trends will be that we'll see a little bit more problem in the fundraising sector.
Problem. Now, what I found too in your survey was 43% are down, but that also means maybe over 50% are holding on or are even getting an increase in spending. How are those different, and what type of charities are finding those differences?
Well, I think part of it was the timing of the survey, and we had, since we asked those questions in December, for a lot of organizations, a lot of their fundraising was behind them. When we asked them looking ahead, we had almost 50% saying they were very concerned about this year coming up.
And for nonprofits, they're kind of hit in two ways, because when times are bad, demand for these types of services go up, but then the funds go down. So it's kind of an interesting supply and demand scenario. So how do organizations like yours cope?
Well, there's a couple ways that they cope, and we're trying to get some more data on that. But one of the things that they're doing is they're increasingly pulling in volunteers. That's a good thing, and the volunteers actually can help with that problem, because either the first or the second way that nonprofits are trying to cope with the falling revenues is by cutting staff. And as you go in, like a lot of businesses, and you eliminate some of the non-essential staffing, well, that affects your services.
And I wonder if there's even a correlation with people being out of work, so they're saying, hey, I can volunteer more. Maybe it's kind of a win-win in some sense.
Well,
maybe.
Well, it could be. And, you know, we know from in the job arena that a lot of your job networking pays off, and so there may be some people out there thinking of a career change and going out and volunteering just to break into a network. Just to mingle with
those type of people, And what are you doing right now? I know you have a new initiative out that you're trying to just get some funding for some nonprofits jointly, or?
Yes, and we're also looking to really increase our web presence. We want to increase our exposure in the media. So there's 2 or 3 different initiatives that I was brought on to help the organization with.
Well, you're doing one now because you're here with us, Doug,
yeah,
so
I know.
I appreciate it. Thank you for watching our San Diego Business Insight. I'm Beck Bamberger. This is San Diego News Network.